Well, now what we have is a delegation with Emmanuel Macron visiting this cathedral, going around all the various parts of it and being explained what has been happening, how this renovation has been conducted over the past 5 years. People explaining that indeed it was a huge challenge to rebuild such a complex building that had been so badly damaged in this fire. You've got to remember that indeed the spike of the cathedral crashed through the roof in a moment that I think will stay in the memories of most people who were standing in attendance and also people viewing what was happening live on television across the world. Of course, the damage sustained by the cathedral was catastrophic, but indeed today the people who've been working on it were explaining to Emmanuel Macron, Brigitte Macron, and also the mayoress of Paris and other members of this delegation, including Monseigneur Ulrich, who is the Archbishop here, that indeed there had been some small miracles. For example, the statue of the Virgin that had been left unscathed, that was even not polluted, that just needed to be cleaned up before she could take her place back inside this cathedral. Of course, also the world discovering the new altar, which was crafted out of bronze, which is very modern, but sits in the middle of this cathedral beautifully and dialogues with all the decoration around it. And of course, this renewed light. Emmanuel Macron saying as he walked in, this is it, the cathedral renewed, reimagined. And indeed, that is very much what we have seen here. And of course, today is an important day for all those who have worked on this project. That's over 2,000 highly skilled people who have been using ancestral techniques in order to recreate the cathedral exactly as it was when it was built 800 years ago. Some people even showing the tools that had been recreated in order to get the exact same finish on the stone.
Yeah, reimagine, renewed, as good as new. James, these artisans will also be honored today. What's going to happen there?
Well, indeed, over 1,300 of those who've worked on this project are assembled here today. And this is the largest meeting of them. Of course, they were not on this huge construction site at the same time. Well, they will be, a lot of them assembled today. Not all of them could make it, but they will be standing in attendance, as indeed Emmanuel Macron thanks them for this incredible work that has been achieved. Now, I've been speaking to some of them this morning. One of the carpenters explaining that he really realized the genius of those who built this roof behind me some 150 years ago. Also, a lady who'd taken care of the interior paintings of the cathedral, explaining how 1,500 square meters of these paintings needed to be renewed in the span of 5 years, which is extremely short, was a huge challenge. But she said, no one has seen this cathedral in this state in the past century. So, of course, there is a lot of emotion here today, a lot of emotion for all these people who say that, of course, this was the challenge, this was the building site of their career, that, of course, it's coming to an end. It's the end of a lot of work, but there's also a very strong emotion and a sense of loss, whereas it is coming to a close. As you know, the cathedral will be officially open next weekend.
Yeah, and James, tell us more about that emotion, about the anticipation from Parisians to have this landmark reopened to the public in just over a week's time. Tell us about a bit more about what it means.
Well, it means a lot simply because it was a very, very powerful image. You've got to remember how important this landmark is. Of course, it is, it's really ingrained into the popular culture. There were books, films, all sorts of stories around Notre-Dame de Paris. And as you know, it's also a landmark that is known across the world. So it is. Of course, it was a heart-wrenching moment when we saw the spike of the cathedral come crashing inside it, and there was a lot of emotion. A lot of people actually decided to participate, give money in order to have this cathedral fixed. They will be represented here. Today, there was emotion from around the world. There were donators from the United States, for example, who gave money in order to rebuild the cathedral. So yes, it is a very emotional moment. It's very rare to see a cathedral this size being restored so quickly to such an important work being carried out. And indeed, there is a lot of emotion today, and there will be even more emotion on the weekend where it opens. That's the 7th and 8th.